Weekend Update with Norm MacDonald.
Thank you. I'm Norm MacDonald, and now the fake news. Yesterday, Simpson trial judge Lance Ito allowed that mystery envelope to be opened, and it appears Simpson may already have won $10 million. The first deaf Miss America, Heather Whitestone, was crowned last week in Atlantic City. Although completely deaf, she is an expert lip reader. Personally, I don't think she's that pretty, you know. Not my cup of tea. Well, David Hasselhoff is a huge rock star in Germany, where his latest album sold 5 million copies this week, which once again proves my theory: Germans love David Hasselhoff. Christy Brinkley told reporters this week that her marriage to Billy Joel was over long before their divorce. The key moment, she said, came when she realized that she was Christy Brinkley and that she was married to Billy Joel. And in a related story, this week marked the 5,000th performance of the Broadway musical Cats. It also marked the 5,000th time a guy turned to his wife and said, "What the hell is this?" And finally, John Wayne Bobbitt is going to be an adult film star. He has been signed to play himself in the John Wayne Bobbitt story. The part of his severed penis will be portrayed by Pauly Shore. According to an obscure 14th century law, British Army Captain James Hewitt could be hanged for having an affair with Princess Diana. The punishment for having sex with Princess Diana is death. The punishment for having sex with Princess Anne is having sex with Princess Anne. Las Vegas mogul Steve Wynn has announced plans for a new hotel, 46 stories high, set on a 17-acre island in the middle of a 50-acre artificial lake on the Las Vegas Strip. In a related story, Motel 6 now has shampoo. Well, a beef-flavored water for dog hit stores this week, and dogs are eagerly anticipating the arrival next month of the newest water flavor: other dogs' asses. Dr. James Watts, a neurosurgeon who performed the first frontal lobotomy, died this week in Washington. If you recall, a lobotomy involves drilling holes in the skull and then inserting and rotating a knife to destroy brain cells. What a genius. He'll be missed. Former First Lady Nancy Reagan reports that her husband has been relaxing at their ranch, riding horses and chopping wood. Sadly, eyewitnesses report that he was actually riding wood and chopping horses. Ted Kennedy says now that he's won re-election, he can finally relax, get off that crazy diet, and really let himself go. Yeah, Ricky Lake, you know, she really is an animal lover, though. She has 3 cats, 2 dogs, and a big ass that follows her around everywhere. Well, there may be trouble in paradise. Lisa Marie Presley confirmed this week that she and Michael Jackson live in separate residences 50 miles away from each other. Lisa Marie was quoted as saying, "I guess being married to a homosexual pedophile wasn't such a great idea after all." Kenny G has a Christmas album out this year. Hey, happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap. Well, a study this week reports seafood is good for you unless it's fried. Yet another groundbreaking story from the pages of the medical journal, Duh. A new FBI study shows that for the first time, Americans are more likely to be killed by a stranger than a loved one or acquaintance. Their advice? Introduce yourself to as many people as possible. A sheepdog carrying $250,000 worth of cocaine in its stomach was found at JFK Airport earlier this week. A customs agent got suspicious when he saw two airline employees taking turns sniffing the dog's ass. O.J. Simpson's lawyers have decided to skip hearings on DNA evidence and go right to trial. Asked why they did this, the lawyers replied, "We want to get O.J. acquitted as speedily as possible so he can get back to doing what he does best, killing people." There's a new 24-hour cable TV channel now. It's called Fish TV. The channel shows a giant aquarium of fish 24 hours a day, except from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. when it shows the Byron Allen Show. In a survey this week, men said they preferred penis size to height. 62% of men said they'd rather be 5'2" with a 7-inch penis. 36% said they'd rather be 6'3" with a 3-inch penis. And the remaining 2% said they'd rather be 1'4" with a 300-inch penis. Here we see the president and the first bitch. Hey, slow down, you bitch. Let me catch up. A 51-year-old cosmonaut set a world space endurance record this week after spending 367 days aboard the Russian space station Mir. And also, as a side note, he also smashed his own masturbation record. In Walnut Creek, California, anyone who turns in his gun can get free therapy. And anyone who doesn't turn in his gun can get free anything. According to a controversial new biography, Elizabeth Taylor likes her lovemaking loud, rough, and frequent. Coincidentally, that's also how she likes to eat. Well, it's official. There you go. Michael Jordan is leaving baseball to return to basketball. It is unclear whether the media will now refer to him by his old basketball nickname, Air Jordan, or his more recent baseball nickname, Senior Crappy. Newlyweds Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson had their first argument this week. He wants kids, while she wants fake kids. A new study says that people who quit smoking have healthier lungs. Yet another groundbreaking story from the pages of the medical journal, Duh. And in court this week, Cato Kalin testified that O.J. Simpson did not appear angry before or after the period of his wife's murder. But Kalin admitted he could have been a touch edgy while he was actually murdering her. Might have been a... Leona Helmsley fired a maid this week for stealing her Victoria's Secret lingerie. And you think she looks hot here, huh? Imagine, if you would, with the Hertz rental car company announced this week that it will buy 520,000 vehicles, increasing its worldwide fleet 24%. In addition, they will try to find a new spokesman who won't kill his ex-wife. And finally, the Diamond Council of America advises that men spend 2 months' salary on an engagement ring, while the American Housing Company suggests that you spend 25% of your salary on rent. Interestingly, the U.S. Crack Association recommends that you spend all your salary on crack. In medical news this week, scientists report there may soon be a vaccine for drug addicts, which completely eliminates the craving for cocaine. They caution, however, that the vaccine is extremely dangerous, highly addictive, and costs $10,000 a gram. This week at the O.J. Simpson trial, the infamous bloody glove was finally introduced into evidence, and O.J. didn't help his case any by blurting out, "There it is, I've been looking all over for that thing." In a bid to boost low attendance, officials at the New Jersey State Aquarium have announced plans for a $4 million facelift. In addition, flashing neon signs will be placed outside the aquarium stating that the fish are, quote, all nude all the time. Julia Roberts told reporters this week that her marriage to Lyle Lovett has been over for some time. The key moment, she said, came when she realized that she was Julia Roberts and that she was married to Lyle Lovett. Last week, Duchess of York Sarah Ferguson visited the Big Apple and showed off her 14-pound weight loss. Hopefully, this will not interfere with her official duties of sitting on her fat ass all day long. Well, singer Willie Nelson, who was arrested recently in Texas for marijuana possession, saw the charges against him dropped this week. A judge ruled the arrest had been illegal because police didn't have probable cause to search his car for pot. How about the fact he's Willie Nelson? Well, the magazine POV came out this week with a list of the best and worst jobs to have in the next century. Their three best were, in this order, multimedia software designer, management consultant, and interactive advertising executive. While their worst, for the third year in a row, crack whore. Dismissed Simpson juror Jeanette Harris revealed in interviews this week that the jury is torn by dissension and is already divided into two camps, those who think he is guilty and those who are really, really stupid. A Cambridge, Massachusetts juror found City Councilman William Walsh not guilty of malicious destruction of property after he removed 2 dildos from a sculpture in the City Hall annex. Walsh's defense was that he was walking by, saw them, and said to himself, "Hey, free dildos." Look at there. Well, Premiere Magazine's list of the 100 most powerful people in Hollywood hit the newsstands this month. In an odd bit of ranking, Demi Moore was ranked number 28, while her breasts were ranked 20 and 21. So, at a press conference this week, Washington Mayor Marion Barry said he wants private businesses to provide 5,000 summer jobs for a district youth program. He also wants some crack. At Virginia Commonwealth University, a professor is being sued following revelations that he spanked one of his students. It was the student's parents who first became suspicious when they asked, "What kind of marks are you getting?" And she replied, "Big red ones on my ass." So, for the 5th year in a row, People magazine has named John F. Kennedy Jr. one of its 50 most beautiful people. Meanwhile, Big Red Nose magazine has named Ted Kennedy one of its 50 faces most ravaged by drink. Well, in Buffalo, Wyoming, a truck jackknifed this week, spilling hundreds of sticks of dynamite on the I-90 interstate, though officials noted that there is absolutely no danger as long as you're protected by magic. Yeah, I wish I was protected by magic. All right. In stock market news this week, April's 3 biggest losers were Cantab Pharmaceuticals, Champion Enterprises, and Crapco, which manufactures crap. And also crap-related items, most recently Mariah Carey's Christmas album. Due to expected cutbacks in funding for PBS's The Frugal Gourmet, has announced that he'll be changing his name to The Cheap Bastard. Well, in a questionable move by the defense team this week, O.J. Simpson demonstrated how to stab 2 people at the same time. Well, Gary Busey left the hospital this week after overdosing on cocaine last Friday. Doctors say Busey is okay and he should be back in the hospital in no time. Last Friday in Washington, D.C., the city's elementary school students pledged to stay drug-free as a gift to their moms on Mother's Day. Meanwhile, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry got his mom a great big box of chocolates. The Walt Disney Company has announced plans to build a $300 million hotel and entertainment complex in New York's Times Square. Construction begins next spring on their first attraction, Crack Horrors of the Caribbean. The American Academy of Pediatrics has released an updated list of unsafe baby products. Topping the list this year is the really, 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 really high chair. Officials in Disney World have ordered their ride, the Extra Terror Estriel, to be shut down until it can be made scarier. When the attraction reopens in 2 weeks, it will be exactly the same, but missing 6 bolts. The United Paramount Network's new show, Star Trek Voyager, finished in first place Monday night with a 14.7 rating. For those of you who don't know, 1 rating point is equal to 950,000 nerds. In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's probably... You don't get worse luck than that. Taco Bell this week introduced a new light menu, as well as a new slogan, half the fat, but still tastes like crap. OJ's pal Al Cowlings now has a 1-900 number. For $2.99 a minute, Cowlings will tell callers that OJ is innocent. And for $3.99 a minute, he'll try to do it without laughing. And now a correction to a story we ran last week. Prince Charles is actually the one in the middle. So we apologize for that. 130 years after the Civil War, the state of Mississippi has finally voted to abolish slavery. Representatives say they would have liked to have done it sooner, but they were delayed due to some awfully big cotton crops. They had some kind of big cotton thing. All right. And finally, the Oscar nominations were announced this week, and Tom Hanks and Jodie Foster are in a heated competition in the Academy's controversial new category, Best Retard. Well, there's good news this week from strife-torn Ireland, where a historic peace agreement has just been signed. Gee, I wonder if anyone will celebrate by drinking. New medical research shows that men and women have different food cravings, men preferring meat and women preferring sweets. Scientists trace this back to caveman days, when men had to go out and hunt for food while women sat on their fat asses eating chocolates. Washington Power twosome Mary Madeline and James Carville are expecting their first baby in July. No one knows if the baby will be a Democrat or a Republican, but doctors are sure of one thing: it will be weird looking. This was Colin Ferguson's first week in prison. Ferguson has reportedly dismissed his cellmate, and from now on he will be acting as his own bitch. The richest girl in the world, billionaire Athena Onassis, celebrated her 10th birthday this week. What's it like to be the richest girl in the world? Well, to give you some idea, at the party, they had 2 cakes. Due to a change in policy, Amtrak employees will no longer be able to kick homeless people out of Penn Station based on the way they look. From now on, they will have to go solely on urine stench. Some teenagers are snorting or injecting Ritalin, a drug prescribed to treat attention deficit disorder in children. Drug abuse experts warn that Ritalin can cause accelerated blood pressure, along with enhanced mental alertness, a surge of energy, and an increased sense of self-confidence. And remember, kids, those are bad things.